Newark Liberty International Airport, originally named Newark Metropolitan Airport and later Newark International Airport, is an international airport which straddles the municipal boundary between Newark and Elizabeth, New Jersey. The airport is owned by the City of Newark and operated by the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey. It is about 15 miles southwest of Midtown Manhattan. Newark Airport was the first major airport in the United States and is the New York-New Jersey metropolitan area's busiest in terms of flights. The airports in the New York metropolitan area combine to create the largest airport system in the United States, the second largest in the world in terms of passenger traffic, and largest in the world in terms of total flight operations. In 2013, Newark Airport handled 35 million passengers, JFK handled 50.4 million, and LaGuardia handled 26.7 million. Newark is the third largest hub for United Airlines, which is the airport's largest tenant. Newark's second largest tenant is FedEx Express, whose third largest cargo hub uses 3 buildings on 2 million square feet of airport property. History. Newark opened October 1, 1928 on 68 acres of reclaimed land along the Passaic River, the first major airport serving passengers in the New York City area. Newark was the busiest commercial airport in the world until LaGuardia Airport opened in December 1939. The March 1939 official aviation guide shows 61 weekday departures on 5 airlines, but by mid-1940 passenger airlines had all left Newark. During World War II the field closed to commercial aviation while it was taken over by the United States Army for logistics operations. In 1945, captured German aircraft brought from Europe on HMS Reaper for evaluation under Operation Lusty were offloaded at Newark AAF and then flown or shipped to Freeman Field, Indiana or Naval Air Station Patuxent River, Maryland. The airlines returned to Newark in February 1946 and in 1948 the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey assumed control of the airport, later building new hangars, a new terminal and runway 4/22. The Art Deco administration building served as the terminal until the opening of the North Terminal in 1953, and was added to the National Register of Historic Places in 1979. The Newark Metropolitan Airport terminal was once adorned with murals by Arshile Gorky. The February 1947 C&GS diagram shows 59 40-foot runway 1, 7,900-foot runway 6 and 7,100-foot runway 10. On December 16, 1951 a Miami Airlines C-46 bound for Tampa lost a cylinder on takeoff from runway 28 and crashed in Elizabeth killing 56. On January 22, 1952 an American Airlines Cove 240 crashed in Elizabeth while on approach to runway 6 killing all 23 aboard and 7 on the ground. And on February 11, 1952 a National DC-6 crashed in Elizabeth after takeoff from runway 24, killing 29 of 63 on board and 4 on the ground. Inevitably the airport was closed for some months. Airline traffic resumed later in the year, but the airport's continued unpopularity and the New York area's growing air traffic led to searches for new airport sites. A proposal to build a new airport at what is now the Great Swamp National Wildlife Refuge was defeated by local opposition. The April 1957 official airline guide showed 144 weekday passenger fixed-wing departures from Newark, 40 Eastern, 19 Capital, 16 American, 14 United, 14 Mohawk, 13 Allegheny, 11 TWA, 8 National, 5 Delta, and 4 Braniff. National had a non-stop to Miami, Eastern had non-stops to Miami, New Orleans and Houston, Braniff had a non-stop DC-7C to Dallas, and TWA flew non-stop to St. Louis. No other non-stops to points west of Chicago, and no international non-stops. Jet airliners arrived in 1961. In 1964 American and TWA started flying non-stop to California, though Newark's longest runway remained 7,000 ft until 1970. TWA's 707 non-stop to Heathrow in 1978 was probably Newark's first intercontinental non-stop. In the 1970s the airport became Newark International Airport. Present Terminals A and B opened in 1973, although some charter and international flights requiring customs clearance remained at the North Terminal. The main building of Terminal C was completed at the same time, but only metal framing work was completed for the terminal's satellites, and it lay dormant until the mid-1980s when for a brief time the west third of the terminal was equipped for international arrivals and used for some People Express transcontinental flights. Terminal C was completed and opened in June 1988. Underutilized through the 1970s, Newark expanded dramatically in the 1980s. People Express struck a deal with the Port Authority to use the North Terminal as both its air terminal and corporate office in 1981 and began operations at Newark that year. It grew quickly, increasing Newark's traffic through the 1980s. Virgin Atlantic began service between Newark and London in 1984, challenging JFK's status as New York's international gateway. Federal Express opened its second hub at the airport in 1986. When People Express merged into Continental in 1987, operations at the North Terminal were reduced and the building was demolished to make way for cargo facilities in the early 1990s. This merger started Continental's, and later United Airlines, dominance at Newark Airport. Of the three New York Metropolitan Airports, only Newark Airport has served as a Philippine Airlines destination. Normally, JFK handles more international flights than Newark and, with O'Hare Airport, were the only destinations once served by the airline not on the West Coast. Due to the Asian financial crisis in 1997, Philippine Airlines terminated service to both Newark and O'Hare and only operates service to West Coast cities in the United States. However, in April 2014, Philippine Airlines announced returns to service for both Newark and O'Hare with additional service to Florida for 2015 following the removal of the Philippines from the air safety blacklist of the Federal Aviation Administration on Thursday, April 10. In late 1996, the monorail system was opened, connecting all three terminals, the overflow parking lots and garages, and the rental car facilities. A brand new international arrivals facility also opened in Terminal B that year. The monorail was expanded the new Newark Airport train station on Amtrak's Northeast Corridor line in 2001, and was renamed AirTrain Newark. Newark is a major hub for United Airlines. Today United has its global gateway at Terminal C, having completed a major expansion project that included the construction of a new, third concourse and a new Federal Inspection Services facility. With its Newark hub, United is the largest provider of air service to the New York metropolitan area. In anticipation of Super Bowl XLVII, held in the nearby Meadowlands Sports Complex, United built a new 132,000-square-foot, $25 million maintenance hangar on a 3-acre parcel to accommodate the Boeing 787 Dreamliner. In 2004, Newark became the terminus of the world's longest non-stop scheduled airline route, Singapore Airlines flight to Singapore. In October 2012, the airline announced that the non-stop Newark-Singapore would cease in 2013, which it did on November 23. The world's current longest non-stop scheduled service is Qantas Sydney-Dallas-Fort Worth International Airport flight. After the hijacking of United Airlines Flight 93 in the September 11, 2001 attacks while en route from Newark to San Francisco, the airport's name was changed from Newark International Airport to Newark Liberty International Airport in 2002. This name was chosen over the initial proposal, Liberty International Airport at Newark, and pays tribute both to the victims of the 9/11 attacks, but also to the landmark Statue of Liberty, just 7 miles east of the airport. A modern control tower was constructed in 2002, and entered service in 2003, becoming the fourth and tallest tower in the airport's history, standing 325 feet over the main parking lot. United began flying from Newark to Beijing on June 15, 2005 and to Delhi on November 1, 2005. The airline soon started flights to Mumbai. Continental became for a time the only airline to serve India non-stop from the United States, and the third U.S. carrier, after United and Northwest, to serve mainland China non-stop and the only U.S. carrier with non-stop flights to Beijing from the New York City area. On July 16, 2007, Continental announced it would seek government approval for non-stops between Newark and Shanghai in 2009. In September 2007, the United States Department of Transportation tentatively awarded Continental the right to fly to Shanghai from Newark beginning March 25, 2009 using Boeing 777-200ER aircraft. In June 2008, flight caps were put in place to restrict the number of flights to 81 per hour. The flight caps, in effect until 2009, were intended to be a short-term solution to Newark's congestion. The FAA has since embarked on a 7-year-long project to reduce congestion in all 3 New York area airports and the surrounding flight paths. In 2012, United Airlines carried 71% of the airport's passengers. The next 2 busiest airlines, Delta Air Lines and JetBlue Airways, each had less than 5%. Facilities. Newark Liberty International Airport covers 2,027 acres and has 3 runways and 1 helipad, runway 4L/22R, 11,000 x 150 ft, surface, asphalt concrete, runway 4R/22L, 10,000 x 150 ft, surface, asphalt, runway 11/29, 6,800 x 150 ft, surface, asphalt, helipad H1, 40 x 40 ft, surface, concrete. Runway 11/29 is one of the 3 runways built during World War II. In 1952, runways 1/19 and 6/24 were closed and a modern runway 4/22 opened at a length of 7,000 ft. After 1970, this runway was extended to 9,800 feet, shortened for a while to 9,300 ft and finally reached its present length by 2000. Runway 4L/22 opened in 1970 at a length of 8,200 ft and was extended to its current length by 2000. All approaches except runway 29 have instrument landing systems and runway 4 is certified for Category 3 approaches. Runway 22L was recently upgraded to Cat 3 approach capability. Most departing traffic uses runway 4L/22 while arriving traffic uses 4R/22L, and 11/29 is used by smaller aircraft or when there are strong crosswinds on the 2 main runways. Newark's parallel runways are 950 feet apart, the 4th smallest separation of major airports in the U.S., after SFO, LAX and SEA. Terminals. Newark Liberty International Airport has 3 passenger terminals. Terminal A and Terminal B were completed in 1973 and have 4 levels. Ticket counters are on the top floor, except for the second-floor Air India and first-floor British Airways desks in Terminal B. Gates and shops are on the 3rd floor. Baggage carousels are on the 2nd floor, and Terminal B has an international arrivals lounge on that floor too. Finally, short-term parking and ramp operations are on the ground floor. Terminal C, designed by Grad Associates and completed in 1988, has 2 ticketing levels, one for international check-in and one for domestic check-in. The main terminal building for Terminal C was built alongside Terminals A and B in the 1970s, but lay dormant until People Express Airlines took it over as a replacement for the former North Terminal when the airline's hub there outgrew the old facility. Upon opening, Terminal C had 41 gates, originally with 1 departures level, 1 arrivals level, and an underground parking garage. The gates, as well as food and shopping outlets, are located on a mezzanine level between the 2 check-in floors. From 1998 to 2003, Terminal C was rebuilt and expanded in a $1.2 billion program known as the Continental Airlines Global Gateway Project. The project, which was designed by Skidmore, Owings and Merrill, doubled the available space for outbound travelers as the former baggage claim arrivals hall was remodeled and turned into a 2nd departures level. Probably most significant was the addition of International Concourse C3, a spacious and airy new facility with capacity for a maximum of 19 narrowbody aircraft. Completion of this new concourse brought Terminal C's total number of mainline jet gates to 57. Concomitant with Concourse C3 is a new international arrivals facility. Also included in the project, a 3,400 space parking garage constructed in front of the terminal, a new airside corridor connecting concourses C1, C2, and C3, a new President's Club lounge between C2 and C3, and all new baggage processing facilities, including reconstruction of the former underground parking area into a new baggage claim and arrivals hall. In 2008, Terminal B was renovated to increase capacity for departing passengers and passenger comfort. The renovations included expanding and updating the ticketing areas, building a new departure level for domestic flights, and building a new arrivals hall. Plans are also in place to expand Terminal A by adding a new parking garage and radically expanding the size of the first concourse to add new gates, ticketing, baggage and security areas. Each terminal has 3 concourses. Terminal A, for instance, is divided into concourses A1, A2, and A3. Gate numbering is continuous through all the terminals. Wayfinding signage throughout the terminals was designed by Paul Midsonar, who also designed signage for LaGuardia and JFK airports. Terminal A is the only terminal having no immigration facilities. Flights arriving from other countries cannot use Terminal A, although some departing international flights use the terminal. Following the business model of the Port Authority's other facilities, in some cases entire terminals are operated by terminal operators and not by the Port Authority directly. At Newark Liberty, Terminal A and Terminal C are operated by United Airlines. Terminal B is the only passenger terminal directly operated by the authority. In January 2012, Port Authority Executive Director Patrick Foy said $350 million would be spent on Terminal B, addressing complaints by passengers that they cannot move freely. That renovation is currently underway. Foy also said a new Terminal A may be built. Further developments were made in Terminal B when the Port Authority installed new LED fixtures in 2014. The LED fixtures developed by Sensity Systems use wireless network capabilities to collect and feed data into the software that can spot long lines, recognize license plate as well as identify suspicious activity, and alert the appropriate staff. A February 2014 article in the New York Times said that Terminal B has security cameras in the lighting that watch passengers. Ground transportation, train. A free monorail system connects the terminals with Newark Liberty International Airport station. The station provides direct rail connections to any station along New Jersey Transit's Northeast Corridor Line or North Jersey Coast Line, including regional transit hubs such as Newark Penn Station, Secaucus Junction, and New York Penn Station, where transfers are available to any rail line in northern New Jersey or Long Island, New York. Amtrak also serves the station with Northeast Regional and Keystone service trains but not ASLA Express trains. The AirTrain monorail also connects the terminals with parking lots, parking garages, and rental car facilities. Bus. NJT buses operate northbound local service to Irvington, downtown Newark, and Newark Penn Station, where connections are available to the Path Rapid Transit system and rail lines. The Go Bus 28 is a bus rapid transit line to downtown Newark, Newark Broad Street Station and Bloomfield Station. Southbound service travels to Elizabeth, Lakewood, Toms River and intermediate points. Olympia Trail operates express buses to Port Authority Bus Terminal, Bryant Park, and Grand Central Terminal in Manhattan, and Super Shuttle, Go Airport Shuttle and Go Link operate shared taxi services. Automobile taxis, private limousine, car service, and taxis also provide service to from the airport. Taxis serving the airport charge a flat rate based on destination. For trips to from New York, fares are set by the New York City Taxi and Limousine Commission. The airport is serviced directly by U.S. Route 1/9, which provides connections to Route 81 and Interstate 78, both of which have interchanges with the New Jersey Turnpike at exits 13A and 14, respectively. Northbound, Route 1/9 becomes the Pulaski Skyway, which connects to the Holland Tunnel, which links Jersey City with Lower Manhattan. The airport operates short and long-term parking lots with shuttle buses and monorail access to the terminals. Airlines and destinations, passenger, cargo, statistics. In 2012, Newark Liberty International Airport handled 33,993,962 passengers. Accommodations: within the Newark Liberty International Airport complex is a Marriott Hotel, the only hotel located on airport property. Shuttle vans operate between the hotel and terminals because the Marriott is not serviced by the monorail and there is no official walking route to the terminals, despite the Marriott's immediate proximity to the main parking lot between the terminals. Airport information: airport information can be obtained in several ways both before traveling to the airport and while there. In addition to the website listed below, travelers may call the airport at +1961 6000 or from within the United States and Canada, toll-free at 888 EWR Info. In the immediate vicinity of the airport, parking and other information is available by tuning to a highway advisory radio station at 5:30 a.m. Newark Airport, along with LaGuardia and Kennedy Airports, uses a uniform style of signage throughout the airport properties. Yellow signs direct passengers to airline gates, ticketing and other flight services. Green signs direct passengers to ground transportation services, and black signs lead to restrooms, telephones and other passenger amenities. New York City traffic reporter Bernie Agenblas provides the voice for the airport's radio station and curbside announcements, as well as the messages heard on board Air Train Newark and in its stations. The airport has the IATA designation EWR, rather than a designation that begins with the letter N because the obvious designator of New is already assigned to Lakefront Airport in New Orleans, LA. The airport has no official area to view flight traffic, but the ICAO of Elizabeth may be used as an unofficial vantage point for aircraft both departing and landing. Incidents and accidents: on December 16, 1951, a passenger C-46 lost a cylinder on takeoff from runway 28 and crashed in Elizabeth, killing 56. On January 22, 1952, an American Airlines Convair 240 on approach to runway 6 crashed in Elizabeth, killing 30. On February 11, 1952, a National DC-6 crashed in Elizabeth after takeoff from runway 24, killing 33. On April 18, 1979, a New York Airways commuter helicopter on a routine flight to LaGuardia and JFK airports plunged 150 feet into the area between runways 4L/22A and 4A/22L, killing 3 passengers and injuring 15. It was later determined the crash was due to a failure in the helicopter's tail rotor. On July 31, 1997, FedEx Flight 14, a McDonnell Douglas MD-11, crashed during landing from Anchorage International Airport. The No. 3 engine contacted the runway during a rough landing which caused the aircraft to flip upside down, after which it was destroyed by fire. The 2 crew members and 3 passengers escaped uninjured. In the September 11, 2001 attacks, United Airlines Flight 93 from Newark to San Francisco was hijacked, but the passengers revolted, forcing the hijackers to crash the aircraft into an empty field in Shanksville, Pennsylvania. Based on the direction the plane was flying at the time and information gathered afterwards, most observers believe that the hijackers intended to crash the plane into a target in Washington, D.C., such as the Capitol or White House. A flag now flies over Gate A-17, the gate from which the flight pushed back from that day. On February 12, 2009, Colgan Air Flight 3407, a Bombardier Dash 8 Q400 operating under contract with Continental Connection, crashed into a home in Clarence Center, New York. The flight was scheduled to arrive at Buffalo Niagara International Airport and was approximately 6 miles away from the airport when it crashed. All 49 passengers and crew members on board the aircraft and 1 person on the ground perished in the incident. On January 10, 2010, United Airlines Flight 634, an Airbus A319, made an emergency landing after the aircraft's right main landing gear failed to deploy. No passengers or crew members were injured during the landing. The aircraft sustained substantial damage in the accident. On November 1, 2011, LOT Polish Airlines Flight 16 from Newark to Warsaw Chopin Airport belly landed in Warsaw after its landing gear failed to extend. On January 21, 2013, United Airlines Flight 4480 from Rochester was landing when several rear tires blew. The plane veered onto a taxiway, but didn't strike anything. The plane was carrying 8 passengers and 5 crew members. No one was hurt. On May 1, 2013, Scandinavian Airlines Flight 908, an A330-300 that was cleared for takeoff collided with an ExpressJet Embraer ERJ-145 aircraft on the taxiway. As a result, a tail loss incident occurred of United Express Flight 4226, the ExpressJet Embraer ERJ-145. On May 18, 2013, a malfunctioning landing gear forced U.S. Airways Flight 4560 to make a belly landing. None of the passengers or crew were injured. See also: New Jersey World War II Army Airfields. Notes. References. External links. Media related to Newark Liberty International Airport at Wikimedia Commons. Newark Liberty International Airport, world's busiest airport. Popular Mechanics, May 1937. Historic American Engineering Record NOAE 133, Newark International Airport, How to Get to Newark Airport, Aviation, From Sand Dunes to Sonic Booms, A National Park Service Discover Our Shared Heritage Travel Itinerary, FAA Airport Diagramma, PDF, effective July 24, 2014, Resources for this airport, AirNav Airport Information for KEWR, ASN Accident History for EWR, FlightAware Airport Information and Live Flight Tracker, NOAA-NWS Latest Weather Observations, Sky Vector Aeronautical Chart. For KEWR, FAA Current EWR Delay Information, OpenNav Airspace and Charts for KEWR.